Come, let's roast people who are against biblical Christianity.
Jordan Standridge did a tour of biblical history to take a look at miracles, because miracles and hearing from God are so tied together.
Miracles and hearing from God are so tied together. Why? This concept is by itself not according to Bible. Because Adam heard from God without seeing any miracles. Enoch walked with God without seeing any miracles. Abraham did not see any miracles, but still he was the father of faith. So this concept of wretched, that miracle is needed for one to believe the word of God or hear the word of God, is not according to Bible.
We would do well to understand, is God still doing those miracles, and is God still speaking?
Yes, of course, God is still speaking and God is still doing miracles. Those two are not one but two different things. God speaking and God is doing miracles are two different things. But this fellow wants to club those two in order to prove his own doctrine.
Let's take that tour through history, shall we? The first person that comes to mind is Jesus, of course, and the disciples. Did tons of miracles.
Yes, of course, they have done tons of miracles, but added to that, the important point is they taught us or preached us to do miracles. For example, in Mark 16, verse 17 and 18, Jesus Christ said, those who believe will do miracles. Okay. And Paul has taught us about the spiritual gifts. One of the gifts is doing miracles, healing. And one more thing, actually, all the gifts are miracles. To know God, that is a miracle. To explain the word of God, that is a miracle, which this fallen man can never do at his own will, or own strength, or own brain. No. All the gifts are miracles. Being saved is by itself is a miracle.
The other would be Elijah, and of course Elijah after him. And finally, we've got miracle worker Moses, as well as Joshua with a miracle or two of his own. Now, can you think of anyone else? Anyone between Adam and Moses, anyone between Moses and Elijah, even one person between Elijah and Jesus. 6,000 years at least of world history, and only 200 years where people could do miracles.
Okay, let's compare the same analogy to preaching the word of God. Okay, whatever this fellow said, from Adam till Moses, only Moses spoke the word of God. After Moses, who came? Joshua. One man led the whole group of people. And after that, the prophets. One man will be leading the whole crowd. One man so. That was up until Jesus Christ. He was the one man who led the whole team. Okay. But today, we see tons and tons of people preaching the word of God, leading the people. Like this wretched and his team. So is it okay? God chose only one man to lead the people, and that too in the long time interval like 600 years, 1500 years. So even now, God is the same. So now there should not be more preachers. Even wretched should not be a preacher. Will that be okay?
This is instructive. These days, we hear a lot of people telling others that God has told them to tell them something.
Yes, of course, these days there are more wolves. That is also prophesied in our Bible. Many will come in my name. Do not believe. That is what our Lord Jesus Christ said. But what he did not say is, I will not speak with anyone after the Bible comes. No, he did not say that.
Everybody apparently should have this gift, which would be a bit odd considering the history of miracles. Very, very rare.
Same way, history of leaders, very, very rare. Why today so many tons of ministers? Why? If this is acceptable, that is also acceptable. But still, we are not supporting these fake miracle doers. But we are here to say that God had never ever stopped doing miracles. He is God yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The same way He did miracles, He is doing miracles, and He will do miracle up until He comes again.
For about 4,000 years of Old Testament history, only 4 men were able to do miracles for a total of 120 to 140 years, and only a couple dozen miracles at that.
Yeah, so, but God changed that in the New Testament. Old is old and the new is new.
Isn't it odd that today we hear so many reports, they are unsubstantiated, but so many reports of miracles when God did not allow the holy men of old to do the same?
God did the same when He was manifested in flesh. And His apostles, the 12 people, did the same. And not even the 12, those whoever were saved by those 12 by hearing the gospel did the same. Many. In the Old Testament, there were few. Maybe you can count them. But you cannot count them in the New Testament because there were tons and tons of not miracles but miracle doers. But again, the miracle doer is God. But He used His children to do the miracles.
Let's keep cripplegating. 900 years after Elijah, God Himself came to earth, did an incredible number of miracles, then allowed His disciples to do many miracles for 60 to 70 years until John died. And for 2,000 years of church history, God only allowed a few miracle workers for a minor fraction of that time.
Who are you to say that? Did you go all around the world and see each and every Christians not doing miracles?
Consistent with Bible history, the Lord put man back into the box where he belongs and took over the duties of lone miracle worker.
And again, how can you say that? So finally, He is going to conclude by saying His own belief or His leaders' beliefs and conclude that today miracles are not happening because we have the Word of God in our hand. So the next part, we will analyze this reason and see if it is true or not.